What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Maximum Engagement. I'm Gage.
Your boy D.
And we're coming at you with another half off the cuff, half rewatch review. And today we watched The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari from 1924. 1927. And this one's directed by Robert Wein. This is a German silent film. It stars most notably Conrad Veidt as Cesare the Somnambulist. For you super Batman nerds out there, you probably know him as from another role he played in this movie called The Man Who Laughed. He became the inspiration for the Joker. But yeah, D, have you, well, before we go into this one, because this is a silent film, so this is going to be a little bit different than what we usually do, but, have you seen many silent films?
I can't say I haven't, man. Like, I think this is actually my very first one I've seen.
Okay.
And, man, like, it's fun to know and, like, very interesting to know where, like, all these films nowadays came from. It's like seeing the origin from it, like, you know, one of the origins from it. And it was very intriguing in how they did it. And a lot of things they did was, like, way ahead of his time. And then it was great. It was great. I actually liked it. I came in kind of like, oh no, man, I haven't no sound, but I'm like,
I did warn you too. I was all like, this is a silent film, and like a lot of people don't like find them appealing.
Yeah, know? But I found it very interesting. Like it was just great, man. Like okay, like I thought I would like something like that, but
yeah,
my mind is very much open now. Like
I'm glad, man. I'm glad. I love silent films. I love all film. I have seen this one quite a few times. This is, as weird as it sounds, this is kind of one of my maybe top 10, top 20 movies of all time. I feel like it's very influential. It's one of those movies that, like, you don't realize how impactful it is until you've actually seen it. And you're like, holy shit, you know? Yeah, right off the, before we go into the actual review, how did the format of this particular silent film make you feel? Like, how does it feel compared to different, like, modern films, or even like just talkies? You know,
yeah.
How did those title cards make you feel?
Oh man, it's kind of like well, me personally, I like subtitles anyway. So like. I kind of
like subtitles.
Yeah, it was kind of like a normal thing. Yeah, it was kind of like, I love subtitles anyway, so I considered it like, okay, subtitles. So, like, I like to read, so it was like, that was great. And they had a pretty interesting build-up, too. It's like, I like the build-up, you know, and how it was shot, like, the camera angles, like, you can see even the camera angles they use in here. I can see them in modern films, like just thinking in my head about some of the films I like. I'm like, okay. That's how they did. And the black and white, just how it made horror films more, he just came out of the darkness. Okay, now you blending back into the darkness. Like, it's just a dark figure. Like, it was great.
It's more of a vibe,
it's definitely a vibe.
So in general, you really liked this one?
Yeah, I liked it. I wasn't leaning back. I was up here like this the whole time. Like, whoa.
I find it very interesting watching films from this period where you're like, wow, they were doing that even back then.
Yes.
Because you'll be like, oh, I feel like that kind of twist or that kind of plot is something that's like more, maybe not fresh, but maybe was like originally created in like the 80s or some shit like that. But then you see movies like this and you're like, holy shit. So I love this film. This is, like I said, this is one of my favorites. It's just so freaking good. It's so beautiful to look at. So we'll dive right into the story. So the story itself is about a man telling a story to another guy who's just sitting on a bench, and he's all like, "Hey, man, so check this out. Me and my homie who were after the same chick, we went to this, I guess, carnival.
Yeah, it was like a carnival type fair
for sure.
type thing.
They're like, yeah, a fair, and Dr. Caligari is one of the performers, and he has a somnambulist, which is someone who he's apparently been asleep for like what was it, 29 years?
It was 23.
23?
23.
For sure. And he only wakes up for a moment to tell the future. And so one of the homies is all like, "Hey, man, how long will I live?" And he says, Cesare the somnambulist says, until dawn. Mm-hmm. And so the guy is murdered that night, which beautiful shot.
Oh man,
so crazy.
You know, great. That was great.
Very crazy. So it's just shot in shadow, so you don't see who it is, but the movie progresses to the point where the friend is trying to find out who murdered him. They feel like they caught the murderer, but you see that it's Cesare who's going out and doing the murders, but under the command of Dr. Caligari.
Yeah.
And the main dude, he's like he posts up in front of the Caligari's hut or whatever, and he's all like, "Oh well, the somnambulist is in that coffin this whole time. He's just sleeping still."
Mm-hmm.
And they pull the fucking coffin out and see that it's a dummy.
Yeah.
Boy, he's like, "What the fuck?" And like
replica.
Dr. Caligari is chilling there, like while behind him, like watching them. And once they pull it out, he's like,
And he's dipped like man, like the Flash. Like,
he's just gone.
oh my gosh! Like, I never seen someone dip out like that.
So, right before they did that, Cesare snatched up the girl that's the love interest of the main character.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most iconic shots. He's going up on the rooftops, and of course, if you know anything about this movie or even just German expressionism, it's like all twisted and all over the place and really, really crazy. So the main character chases Dr. Caligari after they find out about the dummy, and he chases him into an insane asylum, and he finds out, oh, this guy's the director of the insane asylum.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And so when Dr. Caligari is asleep, they go into his office, they find a hidden compartment, and they find a book about somnambulism, and they find his journal talking about how in the 17th century there was a guy named Dr. Caligari who had a somnambulist do his bidding and murdered people in a village and shit. And he's like, oh, I gotta figure out his secrets. I gotta become Dr. Caligari. And so they fucking put the doctor in a straitjacket and all that shit. And so they're all like,
crazy shot, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Like, okay, he's locked up, whatever. And then we flash back to the main character talking to the guy that he was telling the story to at the very beginning on the bench. And you realize that he's in the insane asylum, and all the characters from his story are crazy people in the insane asylum.
Or workers. Still.
Or workers, yeah. The somnambulist, sorry, is just a guy sitting on the wall. His love is a crazy lady as well. And the guy that he believed was Dr. Caligari is the director. But the main character is a patient in the insane asylum. And so it ends with an excellent shot of the director of the insane asylum putting his glasses on, and it zoomed, like, closing in on his face, and it looks pretty macabre, you know, like, it makes you wonder, like, is he really Dr. Caligari?
Yeah, and even, like, the phrase he said, like, I think I found a cure for him.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, so that was kind of like an interesting point.
So after that plot crunch, what do you think about the story?
Oh, it was great. Like it was a very nice build up. Like, and you wouldn't think, cause how it started, like it would end like that. Like, oh my gosh, whoa, that's a complete plot twist. I didn't even think of that. Like, okay, I thought it was just gonna end with him saving, the damsel in distress and stopping the evil guy. But no,
Yeah.
so I found out he's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You expected a more classic story, like more simple. Yeah, for sure.
Especially back then. It was back then. That is like, whoa, mind blowing.
So yeah, you didn't expect it to be that complex for that time period.
Oh,
which is interesting, because you'd think that just because it's a silent film, it'd be more simple, and films back then would be more simple. But some of them were insanely complex. One we're going to cover eventually, Metropolis, way the fuck ahead of its time. One of the greatest films that's ever been made, and it was made like a century ago. It's just, it boggles the mind, some of these movies that came out at that time. And I do understand why they're like kind of off-putting to people.
Yeah.
But I think they're worth a shot, if you're interested in film and film history, or just specifically horror history. I think these are great films to check out. This one, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Nosferatu, Haxan, Vampire. But yeah, story is great. I think it's fucking awesome. I think it's super good.
It definitely caught me off guard. Like, whoa.
Yeah, same with me the first time I saw it. I was not prepared for it. Like, I was like, holy shit, dude. Hell yeah.
Oof.
And let's go into production. What did you think about the production?
Yeah, for its time, it was great, man. Just like the camera angles, like, and how things was shot and how things was like, everybody was like on point,
Yeah.
So, they played their role how they supposed to play their role, and the production is way ahead of its time. Like,
set pieces, right?
Yeah, the set, like, just to hide the background. Oh my god,
they're all twisted and turned, and like German expressionism specifically is like, you could see this is where Tim Burton has gotten his inspiration for most of his movies. It's like copy paste, I think it's way ahead of its time, and it's so crazy of a creative choice for the time period. But it's not too surprising if you look back even further. Like in the late 1800s, they had sets that were really wacky and stuff, and they were trying to always up the ante. So of course, at this time, they were trying to up the ante, of course, and I think they did. The sets are crazy when he's climbing up on the roofs with the damsel.
Yeah, like, whoa.
Iconic shot, man. Iconic shot. So good. The shot of him in the coffin or whatever, when they first show him and he slowly opens his eyes. Cesare, the somnambulist. Awesome. Like, brilliant.
Yeah.
Really brilliant shots. The shot of the friend getting murdered, like the shadow of it. Yeah. Super good, and super ahead of its time.
And how Dr. Calamari,
Caligari.
Caligari, I think Calamari. This is not a squid, okay? Caligari. They had like the close up when him, like, he got like this menacing face, like, I'm gonna do something bad right now. So.
Well, you could. I feel like in some shots you could tell that like they put makeup in the contours of his face to make him look more menacing, which I think works.
Definitely.
Very much so. This was also the time period of Lon Chaney. Lon Chaney's not in this, of course, but Lon Chaney was a very famous actor who did all his own makeup. He was in the Phantom in the Phantom of the Opera. He was the Hunchback in the Hunchback of Notre Dame. He did one of the versions of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, if I remember right. All around talented man. So there was a lot of good special effects going on at that time. Still, just a little bit more hard to come by, you know.
Yeah.
This one I don't think really, as in terms of makeup effects, like the makeup looked really good.
Yeah.
But it was still very basic.
Yeah.
You know, but you can definitely forgive it for its time, because it still for its time looks really good.
Yeah,
really good. There's other movies from this time period that way surpass it in makeup, but I think sets and backgrounds and all that, I think this is second to none. You know, I think it's really, really high up there.
And I think the makeup really complements like the backgrounds and like the black and white, you know, film. So it did great for that. So that's why I think you can just overlook that, because the makeup was very perfect for this.
I think they knew how to work with the black and white tones of the film, because I think they knew, like, I mean, of course they knew it wouldn't be in color. You know, I mean, color film hadn't been created yet, but I feel like they did their best to make what they had look as good as possible, which they accomplished. You know. Yeah, for sure, fantastic. Any last thoughts on production?
No, not at all. That was great.
Awesome, great. Performances.
Oh man, yeah, like they really put like each scene. When the cast is performing, they really kind of project what they were saying in the what you call it, the shots and with the words.
The title cards.
The title cards. Yeah, they really. You can really tell what they were about to say, or gist of what they're going to say.
Which was the style of the time.
Oh man, that was great, because I never seen the silent film, so I'm like, whoa, okay. They really got to project. It was kind of like, I said, it was kind of like dance, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like when you got to like you know, project, and you got to really show the words, you know, what you are trying to portray, and they did that. So everyone did great for me. Like, everyone.
Yeah, it was they're very superfluous. They have to like really be very exaggerated to get it across. Which I think, you know, is fantastic, especially for the time. Sometimes it could look a little hokey in these silent films, like when the dude sees that the damsel is gone. When they go into her bedchamber, he's like, "Why?
Oh my god!"
Little Van Helsing reference for you. I think it's great though. It can be a little campy, a little cheesy, but I'm all for that kind of stuff. It works perfect for those kind of movies. All around great. Conrad Veidt, who plays Cesare the somnambulist, he's a well-renowned actor. Like I said, The Man Who Laughs. He was in Casablanca, which is regarded by many to be the greatest movie that's ever been made. This is one of his earlier works, and he's fucking amazing in it. So good. The best part, in my opinion.
Yeah, and when he grabbed the lady in the bed,
so scary. You can see the Joker.
You can see the Joker. Like, see it. Like, oh my gosh. Like, that's definitely.
Yeah. So violent, dude.
Oh my god.
So violent, especially like for what you think of at that time period. Like, very, very aggressive.
For him to be a little lean guy, he was pretty strong.
Yeah, for sure.
Gosh, he just picked her up and just dragged her like
he's just carrying her across rooftops. It's like, whoop.
And it wasn't a dummy. It was actually her.
Yeah.
I'm like, this man is fit.
Fucking awesome.
I was a little jealous. Like, man, I could not take nobody like that.
Yeah, like hopping across roofs and shit, like climbing up scaffolding and shit. Crazy.
That's why Batman can never catch him, I guess.
Right, for sure. Any final thoughts on performances?
Oh no, man! Like everyone did great.
Oh yeah.
They knew the assignment and they did that and more.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
Hell yeah. And let's go into visuals. So we did cover this a little bit in production, but what did you think of the visuals overall?
Like I said, it was great. It
Yeah.
was great. Like I said, like the camera shots, I'm kind of like in my head, like, whoa, like this is like one of the original, like where they got the camera shots from, like the zooming in on the face when it's like a menacing or a very like moment that you really need to see. That's like, okay, he's up to something, or he's really scared, or like that was great. And man, just the black and white really works with how they use it. Like it just, man, just you can see somebody just come out of the dark and just it's like they blend with the scenery.
Yeah.
Especially how they shot it, like the angles they shot it at, and man, it was. I have nothing bad to say about that, man. Like anything, like man, it was great.
Great. I agree. There's one notable shot that's for a split second that I think is wonderful. During the murder scene, like where you see it's just like the shadows on the wall.
Oh yeah, that was great.
It's very, very violent, very aggressive, and then for a flash, for a split second, you see the two hands coming out of the shadows, just for like half a second, and it's like, whoa, Jesus, like really, really good.
You see the guy fighting, and then you just
see a knife and it cuts.
Yeah, it cuts right.
Which is so good.
Great, right. So I really felt like he got stabbed with
for sure.
Speed of it, like
even though it's in shadow,
yeah.
It's like, holy fuck!
Oh, he's dead.
Oh, he's done.
He's out here. Wow.
He's taking a dirt nap. Oh man.
You really took a stab at it.
Yeah. But yeah, visuals are great. This is, even though this is a almost 100-year-old film, this is one of the most beautiful films I think that's ever been made. Some of the most beautiful films I feel like came from this time period. Faust, Haxon, of course Metropolis is, I still like, Metropolis blows my fucking mind still to this day. I like some of the things, some of the visuals in that movie are just mind-meltingly good. Yeah, I think this one's great. It's interesting to think at that time period about their thought process. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna make this door like a fucking trapezoid.
Yeah,
we're gonna make this window a triangle. This guy's bed is gonna be a rhombus. Like,
like he's like about to fall out the bed.
Yeah.
But he's so comfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that would make them, back to the cast, like, I think that would make them better actors. They had to deal with these abnormal chairs and all that, like.
Well, it's a lot of abnormal characters, too, in an abnormal setting.
Yeah, so, like, they've been through some stuff.
And I think it really enunciates the fact, of course, after watching it, which I think is interesting because it's not, back then it wasn't like today where you could rewatch a movie over and over again. Like, if you didn't catch it while it's in the theater, you probably won't ever see it, you know? But if you think about it, after seeing the ending, it's all taking place in the head of the crazy guy.
So no wonder it's wacky.
Yeah, for sure. Which I think is so interesting.
That's
just
knee slapper right there.
Like how you wouldn't think a movie like this old would have like layers like that.
How did I? Wow, that's right. Yeah. Like no wonder it looked okay.
It's so awesome.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah,
okay.
Really great.
Oh my God, it was already A+. Now it's an A+.
Anything else do you want to say about visuals real quick?
Oh man, what you just said was a nice visual in my head. Yeah, so
it's awesome.
Great. Yep.
Cool.
Man, that's great. You're looking into a mind of a madman here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Great. Visuals, chef's kiss.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, and so we'll go into our final point, sound. Now this one, we have to preface with the fact that this is a silent film. So back then, they would have like a live musician playing, like or musicians playing. You know, it would be a whole event because back then theaters still had stages.
Like an orchestra or something like that? Or
sometimes, not usually. A lot of times it would just be a piano guy, you know, just a dude
on an organ,
jamming on a piano. But given that a lot of these movies had their own compositions written for them and they're preserved, a lot of these movies don't. And most of these movies have been republished over and over and over again. A lot of them are public domain, so they're allowed to do that. And because of that, there's almost always a different soundtrack with these films. I've seen so many different silent films with different soundtracks. Haxon, I've seen with 3 different soundtracks. Metropolis is interesting. I've seen with, I think, 4 different soundtracks, and I've seen one with color and voice acting. So they removed the title cards and put voice acting in it, which I thought was pretty interesting. And I think is worth a watch if you're, if you're not into the whole title card thing. And then The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, I've seen, I think this is my 5th time now of different track, because I've heard it with so many different tracks before, because it's been republished with different tracks. Nosferatu, I've seen with, I can't even tell you how many different, because there's so many of that one. I've seen it, I mentioned this in another video, I've seen it at a theater with a live 4-piece synth quartet playing an original composition that they made specifically for the movie.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it was amazing, dude. It was really good. So this one, the version that we watched, is apparently with a new score that was released just this year, 2024. Yeah, and it's very modern, you know. A lot of times, not every time, because I have seen I've seen versions of this actually with a more modernized kind of soundtrack.
Yeah.
But this one, at points, it felt like it didn't fit the mood.
Yeah.
And at other points, it felt like it fit just perfectly. And some parts I'm not entirely sure they made specifically for this movie. It was my understanding that they did, but a lot of it does feel kind of off kilter. And so I mean, we can't really so and so like deduct points or whatever.
Yeah.
Because of the soundtrack, or give it points either, because
it's like
this is way different than what like they would have heard when this was first released in 1927. But I think it was still captivating. I thought it was still engaging. Whoever put this together, I think still did a good job, even though it felt like a little weird. I still liked it. There's some parts like there's some parts that sound like you're at the club. It's like really like dancey house music, you know. And then other parts, like the first time you see Dr. Caligari, they put some like crazy electric guitar solo over it. Like, what in the fuck is happening?
Yeah, like what's going on? You got a concert right now?
Yeah. So yeah, that's how our sound was.
Yeah.
But if you watch this film, it will most likely differ for you, because there's so many different like soundtracks for it.
Yeah.
Because that's just how these movies are. You know, you gotta just I guess deal with it. But a lot of times, it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think they try to make it more appealing to like the newer age,
to modern audiences.
So they can kind of lead them back to just a silent film. It could be entertaining, you know. But you know, you got to see what you watching, where it come from, the originality of it. So I think it's kind of like a gateway to try to lead them back to, the silent films.
Yeah.
In a sense.
To check out like the history, because we really enjoy the history of these kind of things, of film and all of that.
Yeah.
Horror history is like one of my favorite things. This is partially why we're doing this channel.
Mm-hmm.
To explore the history of horror movies, and not even just the history of horror movies, but to check out the how modern movies are now and all that stuff. I think it's great that we can go from a movie that just came out this year, like The Substance or Smile 2,
Yeah.
and then go back 100 years and check out another film and enjoy it just as much.
Yeah. I feel like it's just like, if horror was a house, you gotta have the foundation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are the movies that's the foundation. So if you didn't have the foundation, you'll have a crumbling house. It's like just a bunch of jumbling nonsense. But they led the way. They built the foundation to where you can have a solid house of horror.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how they do it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. So overall, final thoughts. I think this is masterpiece, dude.
Yeah.
I've always thought this is a masterpiece. I still think it is and always will be, even for a silent film, an evergreen film, way ahead of its time. Just a marvel of filmmaking, especially historic vintage filmmaking. Just all around great.
Yeah.
All around great.
Just all around great.
Oh, yeah.
Just a 10 out of 10 in my book. Like,
yeah.
And this, me seeing the silent film for the first time, it was like, whoa, okay.
Hell yeah.
All right. Like, it still had me, like, intrigued. Like, okay, where is this going? Okay, what is going on here? Okay, I think it's two of them. No, it's not. Oh, okay, he's actually great.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great. I had a good time.
Hell yeah, I'm glad.
So, I'm looking forward to watching more silent films and.
That's awesome. So you're down to cover more on the channel then?
Oh yeah, of course.
Awesome, for sure. Because I do have a lot of people that I do try to show these kind of films to, or used to. I kind of stopped because like most of them are like, I don't want to watch this. So I want to watch Thor Ragnarok or something it's a Marvel movie, and I'm like, I like Marvel movies and comic book movies, but
come on now,
you
really like film.
Mm-hmm.
If you really like
film. For sure. And I understand a lot of times, even people that do enjoy these kind of things, you got to be like in the mood for it. You gotta be in the right like mindset. I can watch a silent film whenever. I can watch these old school films whenever. They just intrigue the fuck out of me.
And
I'm not
tonight,
too picky.
I'm the same way. Like I can.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I like for my room to be silent anyway.
Whoa.
Like I'm watching the movie here. Okay. You not see the intro? All right. Can you shut the? Gosh, it's art we watching here, right? You don't say nothing when Drake is up here doing. Okay, but I can go to a whole. Okay. Okay, sorry. I apologize for my outburst. But when people don't respect, the art of film and movies and stuff like that, I tend to get a little,
He gets a little cuckoo.
Yeah, man. Can you shut your hole? Love film.
Oh yeah. So any final thoughts you want to leave on before we sign off?
I can't reiterate this enough, but just if you have like some type of love for film, try to go back and watch silent films.
Mm-hmm.
And just remember what time it is in, and try to appreciate the art of it, like, because this was ahead of its time, especially for me looking through my eyes. I would never guess a silent film. I thought a silent film would be like, oh, it's boring, 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 blah, blah, blah. But me loving the art and the mysteriousness of like films, like
Yeah.
this is very like mysterious. Like it's
Especially
wow.
because it's like it's a century old.
Yeah,
And we have very little like production background on these kind of films because like that wasn't a usual thing that happened.
Yeah.
You know, there's background photo or behind the scene photos of films like this. There might be some of Dr. Caligari, I'm not sure, but I know there's of Metropolis and Faust and shit like that. But it adds a layer of mystique because it's just like it has a level of disconnection to it just because of how like it's a snapshot out of time.
Yeah.
And I know almost all movies are, but this, like, you could look at an 80s movie, and there could be a lot of them, they're like old as fuck, but they're still alive, and you can still interview them and shit like that and talk to them. But this one, there isn't a single person, I mean, there might be, but I highly doubt that. But most of the people in this, that were in this, that worked on this, aren't with us anymore.
Yeah.
You know? And not just like, oh, they passed like last year or something. This was a century ago, man. So it's interesting to think about. And it makes you wonder, you know, like I feel like all the enigmatic parts and mystery of filmmaking are kind of, it's not the same anymore. I mean, there's a lot of movies, there's a couple movies nowadays where it's like, oh, that's impressive, you know, but you know how it's done.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how it's done, they're going to show you.
Yeah.
And 80% of the time, it's just they got an actor in a blue room.
Yeah, like director's cut.
Yeah, for sure. And like they just CG everything around them. Yeah. But no CG back then, very few film tricks, you know. Special effects were very simple, very archaic. They still, I mean, a lot of the things back then, you know, you hadn't seen before. So just imagine you're in the theater at that time and seeing something like the dude opening his eyes. You shit your pants.
Oh yeah! Wow. And I know they probably didn't have too much film back then too, so they only had like a little small room for error, right?
Yeah. So editing is way different back then, like way more difficult. Of course, nowadays it's digital, so you can just do whatever, you know. Yeah. But back then, it's just the 35 millimeters or whatever. Well, I'm not sure if they had 35 millimeter at that time. We'll have to check. But it was such a much more meticulous endeavor at that time. It took way more work, way more time, way more effort. Not as much money though.
Yeah.
You know, they're still expensive, but not like $100 million movies and shit. Even for the time. But I think editing these movies back then probably had to have been a nightmare.
Yeah, man. It's like, 'cause you have a very small room for error, like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it takes you could partly, the thing is too, like, film, especially silent film, evolved from, like, at first most movies just looked like a play being put on a stage, and they just are filming the play. So a lot of these actors came from stage and shit, or they treated it like the stage too, you know, because there's no room for error in a play either.
Exactly.
You know, but the thing about a play, you're doing it like night after night after night. This is like, it's one and done, you know. But still, like, that doesn't take away from the effectiveness of the performances in this film.
That's true.
Yeah, I think, like you said, altogether, beautiful film.
Yeah.
Beautiful film.
Beautiful.
We both recommend it.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Tremendously.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll do it from us, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I've been Gage.
And your boy D.
Take care.